Namaste, Shunya.
Namaste.
Thank you. My question is, where does the love or hatred for the mother disappear to in an older ego that's no longer conscious of either one, that continues to carry the superego voice and all the projections of the mother, but isn't aware of loving or hating her, but at the same time can't love God?
Well, the mother is God originally, because for the baby, I and the mother are one, right?
Right.
It comes out of that oneness and never entirely separates. That umbilical cord at a psychic level is not cut because we no longer have the social rites of passage that accomplish that. So it not only becomes an inability to love God or even perhaps have faith that there is God, but it also gets projected out as anger at things that don't work in the world. Like the mother's love didn't work for you, it didn't continue, or it was inadequate or unreal, or you were unwanted entirely or abused, etc. So these kinds of attitudes remain as sanskaras. They don't disappear. They actually produce projections that will recreate situations that enable you to get angry at the mother who now appears as someone else, right? And as God, as the God mother of Mother Nature, right? The mother of the world. God is as much mother as father, right? So that inability, and the mother represents love, right? The mother's love is what keeps the child alive, and if there isn't enough of it, life is diminished, and it doesn't blossom, it doesn't flourish, and that lack of thriving then affects the ability to want to grow to one's full potential, which is God consciousness again. So it creates a kind of a depressive effect in the personality. So you have to become the witness of all of that and see that it's a program that still remains in the subconscious that is actually producing the situations that then trigger the same kind of reactions and the same kind of inability to love, right? And to justify not loving because look what you did to me, and etc. So the consciousness becomes fixed on the external other within the phenomenal plane and never goes vertical into realizing the source of who you were before you were born, and to reunite with that source, which is where the power and the intelligence and the capacity to redream your life would come from, right? So in a way, you're cheating yourself of the ability to be free of those feelings that actually create suffering, right? And the only way to do that is to let go of your projection that God is another failed parent who has abandoned you, and that the world is anything but the arena in which you are to develop wisdom out of these very traumatic disappointments and betrayals that have produced your consciousness as having to separate from the herd and from the identification with the mother in order to find yourself. So if all of that hadn't happened, it wouldn't have sent you on the journey your life became that brought you here, right? Which is obviously your soul guiding you back to God, right? But there's still a struggle between the soul and the ego program. And only when you have extracted yourself from the program and awakened to the fact that the program is your enemy, not your friend, and certainly not who you are, that you will give such devotion to that source of light that it will, like a laser beam going through a magnifying glass of your devotion, burn the sanskaras and burn them quickly, so that you are freed from those egoic preconceptions that produce repetitions of trauma and of defensiveness against love. And then the power of love will be triumphant, and you will be divinized. And that can happen at any moment.
I guess what I don't know how to do is how even to identify any of that, because the hatred and the love aren't really conscious.
Well, anger is conscious, isn't it?
It's more annoyance than...
Annoyance,
Yeah.
That's anger, right? So you have to go from annoyance to meta-annoyance. And the only way to do that is to recognize that the ego, in a way, is addicted to annoyance. That had become its fuel, because love wasn't available as a fuel, so you had to take this substitute, right? But it doesn't get you very far. You know, it's worse than an electric car, you know, so you want to have real fuel that can get up the mountain, right? And four-wheel drive, right? That's chakra 4 drive that you have to have. And you have to be free of your fear of heights, of going to God consciousness, and fear of ego death, and letting go of those defenses that protected you, but didn't really, just created annoyance and suffering, right? So once you have seen through the delusion of the ego and you don't fall for it anymore, then the trip will be very quick and beautiful and filled with joy. And that can happen today, okay? It doesn't have to wait, because you have the intelligence to know that this is what you really want. This is what your heart really wants. And your heart wants to reunite with your mind and enable your mind to become filled with that wisdom that brings the transcendence and the union with God.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste and blessings.